Hi, welcome to another video. So, Google launched Antigravity 2.0, and I obviously didn't like it. However, one of the reasons that people will use it is quite simple. The reason is the free tier. The Antigravity free tier is actually really good. They have even now increased the rate limits by 3 times with their own Gemini models. So Gemini 3.5 Flash is now available for more usage across all paid plans. The paid plans are something many people just have because they almost like give the $20 plans for free via student discounts, Chromebooks, and a ton of other places. Even without that, the free tier is actually really good. So I'll walk you through about what you can do to make Antigravity a bit of a better place to use and at least get some worth out of the free or the $20 tier. Never take the $100 or $200 plan for Antigravity though. $20 tier is more than enough. Anyway, so the first thing is that you have to pin the Antigravity IDE to your taskbar. I don't use Antigravity 2.0 because it's just really bad. Most of the stuff that I'll say here can be applied to that as well if you prefer to use that. So we'll focus on Antigravity IDE. Now, let's go one by one. First of all, you can see that it is quite good and simple. On the right, you have the agent, and you can just use Gemini 3.5 Flash and everything here as well. The only thing that it doesn't have is the sub-agents feature. I don't really understand why this is, because on one hand, Google says that all their agentic products now run on Antigravity harness, and then their own products have a different harness, because launching agents should be a part of the same harness, so it cannot run sub-agents to get more work done. However, the CLI does have the sub-agents feature, so you can potentially use that as well in conjunction to give it maybe long-running tasks. Or maybe you can use the Antigravity 2.0 option as well. While it doesn't have that feature, it does have some good features, and one of them is the /goal command. The goal command allows you to give it a task, and it keeps going until that task is fully finished, which is great. So you can just do /goal and your prompt, and it should work fine. If you do want a full no-hindrance experience, then you can hit the settings option at the bottom and enable the auto proceed option in everything to make it work autonomously. Now, these are the basics. Let's talk about how to fix the performance of Gemini 3.5 Flash and Antigravity. One of the first issues is that Gemini 3.5 Flash's UI stuff is now kinda bad. Gemini 3 was great at it, but Gemini 3.5 Flash has fallen off. Now to fix it, I can recommend 2 things. First is the Frontend design skill by Anthropic. It is quite good and fixes it to some extent for sure. Another thing that I can recommend is using the awesome Design MD, and it actually contains all the design aesthetics from different companies. So you can put that in and it can follow a specific aesthetic, which is also really good to make it behave in a rather pleasant way, and make sure that all your modules' aesthetic remain the same, which can be a problem with Gemini. Another thing that I find really bad with Antigravity and Gemini is that it is not very structured. For example, if you give it a folder that is full of code and then ask it to do something, then it gets lost because it wants to look at the code first, even if the task is not related. It also wants to always make new plans for the smallest of tasks. I was able to also fix this by using the King mode prompt that I have. I also added a simple thing to it where I asked it to not plan unless explicitly asked, and also don't overthink unless asked. This makes it a bit more structured. Next up, I would also recommend you to just install the VS Code extensions that you use and like. For example, you can install the language servers that you like, some design tools you might want as well. One of the things that I'll highly recommend you to keep turned on and have it configured correctly is the browser option. To do that, you can go to the Antigravity settings option, and in there you can easily hit Enable Browser Tools, and then you might have to configure things like path and stuff. And then you can also set up the JavaScript execution policy as well. You can also set up the browser actuation rules for which sites it can and cannot touch, which is also interesting. You can also see the quota and model limits in your Antigravity limits as well. So this is also good. I'd recommend you to check out the settings page as you'll find some good settings to also make the experience a bit better. Another skill that I'll highly recommend you to use is the Carpathy skill. It's pretty simple and to the point, and it actually works. It does indeed make it good to use and even more structured. That is about it. I can't say that this is the best way to use it. If you use it to do something, then you can configure it accordingly. I think that the free tier is quite good, and with the IDE, you can actually install extensions and everything. The harness in itself is already quite good and it works. It's just that the Antigravity 2 interface is not very intuitive and has very basic features remaining, which at least the IDE fixes. So that's about it. Overall, it's pretty cool. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, consider donating through the Super Thanks option or becoming a member by clicking the Join button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.